This week on The Tim Weaver Show, I interview Bob Murray, the host of the long-running TV show Delaware Valley Outdoors. Bob's love of the outdoors and his passion to teach has influenced millions of viewers over the last 19 years. To outdoorsmen and anglers in the northeastern states, he's recognized as a knowledgeable, down-to-earth, and a modest figure. To many, as well as myself, he's also a hero. Bob Murray, good afternoon.
Nice to be with you. Yeah, I'm getting a little teary-eyed here, the nice guy stuff. But yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So let's talk a little bit about this whole Delaware Valley Outdoors television show and how it came about. To those who know your history and your background story, you never actually came forth jumping on the opportunity to be the host of the show as many others did. You're actually referred by an attendee at a Bucks County Community College seminar because of your distinct personality. So were you surprised when Michael Haney, your producer, contacted you about being the host of this television series?
I was amazed because the first thing I said to Bob, who referred me, was, does he know what he's getting into? Because being a fisherman, it takes a lot of time. I mean, you're out on the water. When I was younger, I mean, I fished probably 250 days a year. So that's a lot of days. When I said, does he understand that we're going to be on the water a whole lot? And then Mike came to me and I said, I'm doing a seminar. If you like what I do, come and meet me, and we'll go. He liked what I did, and then it was all downhill from there.
So what motivated you to accept his offer?
Because I had been writing, and I did seminars and that kind of stuff. And don't forget, this is going back early. This is in the 90s when we started this thing. That there wasn't a television show, and that's what Mike pitched to me, was that there wasn't a local television fishing show, and that he would like to do it. Right. And that's what kind of motivated me. I said, you know what, because I traveled all over the country fishing, and I said, we have some of the best fishing right here in Bucks County and in the lower Pennsylvania here. I said that people don't even know about. I said, well, you know where we are now. I'm 5 minutes from the river. I said, we have some of the best smallmouth fishing going on, and that I would like to help people learn about that. And that's from the seminars, because people would always ask me, where should I fish? How should I fish? And Mike brought up the idea, said, let's show them how to do it. So that's where we went.
So when you did take that position, your intention or goal was basically to teach people?
Yeah, that was my whole thing. It wasn't, and I have to be very strict about this, it wasn't come watch me fish. That was not the point. That was our goal, was let me show you how to fish. Because who the heck cares about watching me fish? It's like, I'm going to teach you, show you the spots, and I never cared about if I showed people where to fish. You know, I don't care, it's not my secret spot.
Right.
And that's what I did. I said I wanted to teach people how to fish. It wasn't come watch me fish, because I ain't that good.
So did you know from the start that you wanted to make a lifelong career out of fishing?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, just before we started, I grew up on a farm. I fished as an 8-year-old kid, you know, with a little fishing pole that I had, and you know, and I hate to say it, almost with the safety pin kind of stuff.
Right.
Don't forget, I'm pretty old, and you know, I just loved it. I love I love the outdoors, and there's nothing better than being on the water in the morning fishing. I don't care, or hunting if you're in the woods or something like that, but there's nothing better than that.
Right. Okay, so what most would regard as a hobby, it's actually become a lifestyle for you. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, it's gotten to the point that I'm overwhelmed by some of the stuff that has occurred, all the things that have happened to me through that. Yeah, it's just evolved into a lifestyle like that. I love fishing. I mean, when Mike said to you about coming up and talking to me, he goes, you got to be careful. Bob's in Florida fishing. You know? And I was like, yeah, I should be in Florida fishing now. So it just has turned into a whole lifestyle.
Right. Now, does that ever get in the way of fishing, or can it ever take the fun out of fishing?
You know, I have, I always say Mike, my producer, Mike Haney, who is obviously the man behind this show, trust me. The business end is really difficult. It is just incredible. The amount of competition for product, for endorsement, and stuff like that. We've been lucky to have some sponsors that have been with us, and the fact that we have other things that we do that kind of feed the money into the system.
Right.
So it's one of those things that I'm lucky enough that I was a school teacher, and I had the summer off, so we could go fishing all summer long.
Worked out
so
perfectly.
yeah, so it worked out a lot better. I didn't have to take off, or I had to make money to do this. We were off.
Okay.
Mikey starved though.
So what kind of dedication did it take to be where you are right now?
You know, it took, it's a lot. You have to be dedicated. You have to give up certain things, and that's hard because you travel a lot. I mean, we go out on the road. We're going for 14, 18 hours. Come home, you're tired. You gotta, that kind of stuff. So it takes, you got to really be dedicated. And I can tell you, it takes a toll on your family. And I know a lot of professional bass fishermen, that it really takes a lot of, they're gone. So they don't have, they're not home with the wife or the kids and stuff like that. And it takes a lot of dedication. You really, really, really have to like it.
Okay. So what advice would you give to an angler that's trying to make a career out of fishing?
Go into plumbing. No, it is, I've known a lot of good fishermen, and they have tried, and it's so hard. There's an old joke about it. If you want to be a fisherman, start out with a big fortune, you'll end up with nothing. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It takes the amount of money it takes. A bass boat's $50,000. Okay, you got a truck, you got gas, you got food. It's something that goes, oh yeah, I'm a great fisherman. Not me. I would say one thing, they are great fishermen. You could be a very good fisherman, but that's what it takes. You have to put a lot of, and it's hard to get sponsorship nowadays. All the big companies. I started out in the '70s, doing this stuff. Now all those companies have shrunk down to maybe 5.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the poor guy that's trying to make spinner baits in his garage, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So who in your life, who got you hooked on fishing? Is there a certain person?
I have to say my father. And my father and I never fished together. My father has passed away. But my father allowed me to go fishing.
Right.
And that's what got me started on fishing, was my dad. He didn't care. I went, because I lived on a farm, and so I went fishing in the summertime as a kid. But he's the one that started me, and I never went fishing with my father. You can believe that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you feel is your greatest accomplishment?
I think my greatest accomplishment is when people like yourself and people that I meet at the shows come up to me and thank me and say, I went to there and I did good, and I really appreciate you showing me this thing. I think that's what I get out of it. As a young fella like yourself, there's a young fella who's old now, who had come to my seminars back in the 80s as a little 12-year-old or a 10-year-old kid. And he and his dad would come and they would talk, and I would, and gosh, it was at the Fort Washington show. This man came up to me and he goes, "Hi, Bob." "Hi, hey, how you doing?" He goes, "You don't know who I am." I go, I see so many people. And then he told me, and he said, "I come here all the time to see you." Because he said, "I started out at 10 years old and you taught me all about my fishing."
Wow.
So that's the kind of thing that I get a kick out of, is that the people that come to me and say those kind of, which is very humbling to me, that that I've helped them or encouraged them to do something like that. So that's where it's at.
Okay. Now, where do you see DVO TV going?
We are in such an age, and I have to again throw Mike the props, as far as going the next step. Being on television was one thing, but now with today's media, Twitter, Facebook, to YouTube and stuff like that, that's where we're going. I mean, we do the live feeds now, and that's where people are going, because with the TV and stuff like that, or on the computers actually, instead of saying, oh, you know what, it's 7:30, I'm going to watch Bob on Wednesday night. You can watch it anytime
Right.
you want. So the guy comes home, he clicks on his computer. So that's where our website, Delaware Valley Outdoors, is the whole thing, where people just go there and they can watch it anytime they want, which I think is the content which we like. And that's why, in fact, I digress a little bit, but that's why we wanted to do this, to put some content up on the website so that people will come to the website. And that's where we get, generate some of our money and stuff like that.
Okay. And back to some of the style questions before,
Yeah.
who would you say is your biggest inspiration?
I don't know. If I say this, I'm probably going to get killed. But the kind of guys that inspired me were the old school guys, Roland Martin.
Okay.
And one guy that I'm sure you have no idea who this person is. It was a guy named Gadabout Gaddis.
Never heard the name.
Never heard of the man. I want you to look him up. This is your thing. He was called the Flying Fisherman, and this is back in the 50s. And he would go around and film fishing shows. Now here's little Bobby dying to see any Gadabout Gaddis show. And so I want you to remember that. So he was my big inspiration as far as going fishing.
I'll absolutely look into that. What can consumers expect of the show in the future?
Again, we're trying to do more content,
Okay.
more live streaming. When we're out on the water, Mike's putting tweets out and that kind of stuff, because it gets people engaged. So you could be at work,
Right.
oh, look at a tweet. Oh, but look, Bob's fishing.
Yeah.
He's actually almost catching something.
Now, would you say that social media has helped you via Facebook, Twitter, other sites?
Yes, I think that has really been true. The content, a lot of people are, because you get all the tweets and stuff like that, or somebody's following me on Facebook and stuff like that. And I think that's where it's going smartphones.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's the kind of stuff. And it's hard. And when I started, I wrote for a number of magazines, on a typewriter.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah.
No word processing, there's a typewriter. So I think that kind of stuff has, jumped it up a little bit. So it's hard to write for a magazine anymore. It's real difficult.
Right.
So the social media thing is where to go, and blogs and stuff like that.
Okay. Now, have you been successful with retail marketing through retailers such as maybe Dave's Sports Center, Clayton's, Brinkman's Tackle, or would you say it's more of a success through online?
It's a combination of both. We do have a lot of success with some of the local people, and we kind of have it set it up so the cost is very beneficial to them, which is good in the economy we have. But a lot of it goes from being on TV or on the net, that we do everything through the website as far as selling the DVD, and we've been quite successful, I have to say, with the DVDs that we put out. Again, it's educational.
Right.
It's not like Bob watching me fish. It's educational. We give GPS coordinates and stuff like that. So that's where people, I think, appreciate maps and stuff like that.
Right. Okay, and how would you say that your success has been marketing to places outside of the Pennsylvania, New Jersey area?
Well, Delaware Valley Outdoors obviously is our name, our logo. And I can fish anywhere, I don't care.
Right.
It doesn't bother me. And I wanted it to make so that the average guy who has a 2-week vacation or going on a Saturdays off, that he has about a 2-hour window to fish. You know what I mean? You can go down to the Delaware Bay, he can go to the Poconos, Paul Pack. So that's about a 2-hour limit. Outside of that, we've always tried to do a Canada show.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. So, guy's going to take vacation with his buddies.
Right.
Okay. You know what? I saw Bob, and I don't know how many people have asked me about when we go up to the Rideau chain in Canada. It's not that far, about maybe 6 hours, straight up. And they've always asked me about that. In fact, I have people who just contacted me not too long ago. They've already set their dates up to go up there again, and they found out through us But I didn't want to do that as far as, oh, I can go here and fish, or I can go there and fish. I mean, we've gone to Florida and fished and stuff like that, but just like a vacation spot that we try to do with those people.
Okay, and you mentioned a few moments before about this live video stream people can see on the site.
Right.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Oh boy, I'm gonna have to, Mikey's laughing. It's just, it's a live stream. You can see the cameras that we have, and it's very technical. We have Mike has sets of computers up and stuff like that. But that's the wave nowadays, because live streaming, okay, we're doing the fishing stuff, but live streaming is in business all the time now.
Right.
Why bring all these people to one spot when they can stay in their workspace and watch the live stream the whole thing right to them? So cost factor is there too.
Right. Okay, so plans for 2013, that obviously we talked about the digital age changing. There's not much TV, everything's kind of changing. Have you heard about like Roku or anything like that?
I have heard it only because Michael tells me about it.
Okay.
and the whole thing, and I hate to bust on Mike a little bit, but he's been on the cutting edge of all of this.
Right.
And someday we should go through the archives and show the camera that we started out with, which is the size of this chair. Okay. Now you see we have digital little cameras. So I think that's the thing that's coming up. And again, it's the social media stuff that I think that we're doing the best. And again, with the cameras and the high def. I mean, that's the new thing.
Right.
Those are the kind of things that we're into to make the show better and stuff like that.
Okay. Now, it looks to me like we have a 20th anniversary approaching. Does Delaware Valley Outdoors Television have any plans coming?
Not that Mike hasn't told me about yet.
Okay.
We've always talked about this. We've done, I think maybe it was a 10-year where we took all the things from the beginning and showed them. And in fact, a friend of mine, ran into, because you go to the site and you can watch shows from 10 years back.
Right.
That's the cool thing about being on the web. They said, and I dude, what were you doing with those glasses? Because I had big brown glasses on and your beard, it wasn't gray. And so those are the kind of things that we'll probably do for the 20th, to say, here's where we started out. And one of the things that we started out with, when we had the concept of Delaware Valley Outdoors, was to do part fishing and then part interesting sites in Bucks County.
Okay.
And that soon went away when fishing became, it was a travel log type thing,
right,
which was popular back when we started. And but then it just went right straight to fishing because that was the most popular.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to move on to some fun questions. First, can you tell us what's your most memorable catch?
My most memorable catch? I guess, is that I caught a 10-pound bass in Honduras.
Wow.
Okay? And that was a friend of mine invited me down, and I flew down to Honduras, and we went out on a private sort of lake. It was owned by a fruit company. They said pineapples or something. And so that's probably the oddest place that I've been to catch a fish. And the other one that I have to say is that the largest smallmouth bass I ever caught, I caught in the Delaware River, not far from here, in October. It was 6.5 pounds.
Wow.
And that was my most memorable fish here. But if you talk about the big picture, yeah, it's been going to, when I went to Honduras and
I'm
fished.
sure that was a great fight too.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That's awesome. So who's your favorite person to fish with?
Other than myself, because then I don't look bad. I know what I have. I've had the luck to fish with a lot of good people, and one of the stories that I'll tell you was that a lot of people want me to guide them, and they pay me money, and I did it for maybe 3 people, and then I quit because those 3 people became my friends.
Yeah.
And everybody else, I said, I can't take people out for money because they become my friends. So I have to say that I can't think of a person that I have not had a good experience with. And that's one thing, I mean, you see the TV show, but on the background of it, we're laughing and we're having fun and joking. And that's the whole thing. I've never taken myself that seriously.
Right.
And if you do that, I think you're going to go downhill.
Okay, so obviously seems like you've been everywhere. What would you say is your favorite place to fish?
The Delaware River.
Delaware River.
Yep. And I'll give you an example. We've gone to Thousand Islands. I went to Thousand Islands 18 years in a row, up on there, Thousand Islands, St. Lawrence Seaweed. And we'd go fishing. We'd catch a lot of fish. And then on the way back, I'd say, you know, we could catch the same amount of fish right here. Why do we have to drive way up there? But it was a vacation for us and stuff like that. But I think the Delaware River here is one of the best fisheries on the East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah. And that means you have shad, you got walleye, you got smallmouth, lower river, you got the stripers. And it's right here within 35, 40 minutes. You have some of the best fishing around.
Absolutely. So can you tell us about the worst filming experience? Maybe it's a funny story, a disaster. What's the worst one in your book?
I will tell you. I'll give you a couple.
Okay.
I mean, there's 19 years. We got a bunch of them. One, and I'm going with Mike because he's been together with me all this time. We were doing a show on the Chesapeake Bay for stripers, and I catch this big striper, and I look at the camera and I'm talking about it, and then I throw it in the water, and then I look back at Mike and I go, "Hey, Mike, isn't that little red light supposed to be on?" We lost the whole thing with the biggest fish. Poof.
Oh man!
And he goes, "Yeah, I guess I didn't do that right." Yeah. But there's been a number of those type of things. We did a great show. We caught big bass over Manasquan Reservoir. I mean, 5-pounders like nothing. And he calls me up later on. He goes, "We lost all the audio." Oh. I go, "What?" And he went out of his mind. We kind of fixed it, but it was one of the things he said, "What happened?" It was just one of those things that the audio didn't latch up.
Yeah.
And so those are the kind of things that they're mostly technical that we do. But going fishing and the pressure, which I have a good time with it, is that I have to go out with a guide. And so it's like, we're not catching any fish here, dude. He's my producer's getting upset back there. So it's really fun. I mean, we have good times with that, but it's the pressure on the person that I go out with to produce the fish. And as people have asked me, I don't think, maybe 1 or 2 times, and Michael will have to correct me, that we really didn't get a show. Okay. 1 or 2 times, and out of all those times, we strung a show together. We fought hard. I mean, we spent a lot of time on the water, and we learned our lessons.
Yeah.
That's.
So back to that question kind of again, can you tell us anything about maybe a Bill Dance style blooper? Did the cameras ever get dropped in the water or anything?
Well, you see the size of Mike? When he says don't drop anything, he means it. No, we haven't. We've been fairly lucky.
Yeah.
Across the board, we've prepared pretty well, and nothing has really broken on us. And I'm really, no rods have been dropped in the water, and it's a long time. I'm probably going to get killed on this one. I have fished a long time. I've never been stuck with a hook.
Wow.
I've never had I've been zipped and stuff like that, but I've never had a hook, like a Bill Dance thing or anything like that. No. The only thing I can remember one time, everybody tries to be helpful, and we were finishing up a show, and the guy says, "Oh, here, Bob," and he grabbed my tackle box, and it wasn't latched, and 34,000 things went across the deck like that. But we've been really blessed, to say another word, just with that. Now, I could give you an anecdote that I was not involved in, okay? And I know he's going to laugh. We have camera boats.
Right.
Well, we had a camera boat operator. I think he was blind in one eye and couldn't see out the other, okay? Well, we were in a big wooded area, and we're fishing, and Mike's saying, move up, move up. Well, the guy hit the thing and ran right into a tree.
Oh.
And so he's going, slow down. And Mike's trying to keep the shot on myself. And the guy hits the tree and almost knocks him into. So that, I mean, it was basically dangerous on the other side of the camera versus where I am.
And that's really amazing for how many years you guys have been
Yes,
at
we've
this.
been, I say, God, maybe Mike can come up with something, but we have been very, very lucky with all the places we've been that the boat started, the trolling motor didn't break.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets a little iffy, but
Right.
no, we've been lucky.
Florida and the rain was the worst.
Yeah, when we were, that's right.
Ground.
That was a good. We were at Lake Toho, which is
Okay.
part of the when they have the Bassmaster Classic. Is there.
Right.
And we had a friend who and now owns the marina there. Who's a friend of ours, and we went out and Mike's going, I think we should go in. And now you got two bass fishermen, and we're hammering bass. And Mike's going, I think we should go in. And in Florida, it just started to pour. Well, the boat filled up with water. We're trying to save the camera.
Oh.
And yeah, that was. But we wouldn't stop fishing.
Wow.
We wouldn't. But he was. We gotta go. And we did learn our lesson on that one.
Yeah. Okay, so is there anyone that you can say that you would just love to fish with?
You know, I fished with Rowan Martin.
Yeah.
I fished with Mike Iaconelli. I mean, I fished with a lot of great people. So the only person, I really don't, I would enjoy being with any of those people.
Right.
Any of those people, all the new guys that are coming up, because when you get on the other side of them, besides the fishing, they are some of the nicest people you will ever meet as a friend. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I would want to fish with every one of them. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. That's the funny part. And they're very, when you fish with those people, they are so accommodating to us, you know, with the cameras and all that, that you just don't, you know, that's another side of them that nobody ever sees.
Yeah.
You know, they see that Mike Iaconelli screaming, and he's the most mild-mannered person you ever wanted to meet. Very accommodating and nice. So yeah, no, there's probably 50 people on the bass tour that I would love to fish with.
Yeah.
I just love, and Al Linder was a good friend. Those kind of people that they're down home people.
Right.
They really are. They don't have too many airs. There's no that kind of stuff.
Well, thank you very much, Bob Murray. It's been an awesome experience to be here with you today. I really enjoyed talking to you and asking you all these questions. It's been a great experience. Thanks again.